One Zambia, One Nation. You are watching Zanis main news. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. A look at the top stories. President Hakainde Hichilema assures of adequate food supply. Zambia exports avocados to European Union market. Youths urged to participate in national development. And in sports, oldest golf course in the country fenced. And now the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has assured Paramount Chief Mpezeni of the Ngoni people that no one will die of hunger as a result of drought that is being experienced in the region. Gracing this year's Nchwala traditional ceremony at Mtenguleni, President Hichilema said government will continue to provide adequate food supplies to families affected by hunger during the drought period and beyond. Details in this report by Luapula.
Paramount Chief Mpezeni of the Ngoni, clad in his lion skin attire, has led multitudes to celebrate this year's Nchwala traditional ceremony in Mtenguleni area of Chipata district. As a sacramental meal and thanksgiving to God, the chief has proceeded to taste the first harvest of the season, grown by his subjects.
So the Nchwala is a ceremony of the first fruits. And we are here today on the 24th, but you realize that the Nchwala started actually on the 22nd with the offering of the first fruits to the king at the palace at Ipenduken.
The climax of the ceremony is the ritual slaughtering of a black bull, commonly known as munikelo. At this point, the chief drinks the blood of the bull. What is the meaning of this ritual?
The drinking of what we call munikelo, the slaughtering of the black bull, and the partaking of the king of the first blood. What that signifies is that he's connected now to the spiritual realm of our ancestors to conclude a 3-day ceremony and to say it is now done, and the ritual is complete. You might call it a collective prayer to God and also to the ancestors, thanking them for the good harvest as well as the first fruits as well.
President Hakainde Hichilema has graced this year's Nchwala traditional ceremony.
The government worked very hard to deliver fertilizer, to deliver seed on time, and the people responded and planted well. Unfortunately, we have no control over the grain. We confirm that this government will work hard to make sure that its people do not go hungry because of the drought. We're putting in place measures to ensure that food is available to our people. But we must work together as one unity to deliver Chitukuko to all our people. Food is the center of development. Without food, people cannot work in factories. People cannot work in offices. This weather is now sending a message that we must redouble our efforts to do irrigation. Farming through irrigation. To irrigate, we need to harvest water to dam our streams. And I love Eastern because of its undulations. You go up, you go down. Easy to make dams, to make weirs. So your government will work very hard to extract, to harvest surface water as well as underground water through boreholes, so we can irrigate. Even in the dry season, we can continue growing some food for our people.
The Ngoni Royal Establishment has also spoken.
To all Zambians, please remember that in the last 41 years that our board sought to work closely with the government of the day. This is in recognition that no meaningful development can ever come to the people without close collaboration between traditional authorities and government structures.
Mtafela, Zanis, Chipata District, Eastern Province.
And President Hakainde Hichilema says the prevailing drought situation in some parts of the country calls for alternative agricultural production mechanisms such as maximization of irrigation. President Hichilema says this is one way of mitigating the loss of crops and increase food production. Mr. Hichilema says he is saddened by the adverse drought situation which has caused extensive damage to Zambia's major crops like maize, adding that irrigation is the only approach to agricultural production given the abundant water resources the country is endowed with. The president said this when he paid a courtesy call on Paramount Chief Mpezeni at his Laweni Palace immediately after his arrival to grace this year's Nchwala traditional ceremony themed cultural pride in promoting reconciliation and national unity. The head of state has also reiterated his call for unity across various cultural diversities in the country, despite the harsh weather conditions the country is facing. Earlier, the chief noted that the drought had not only affected Zambia, but other neighboring countries such as Malawi and Mozambique. And Paramount Chief Mpezeni has since reaffirmed his commitment to working with government in promoting peace and national development.
So call Kosi Amankosi is for all of us, traditional leaders, communities, religious leaders, government, local government. Mayor is here, MPs are here, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. We all must work together. Like you said, we must focus on the work to be done. Do two things, to feed our people during this drought, but also to tend to irrigation because we must do it so we can reduce the pressure, the tension next time. Otherwise, I'm very grateful to be here. My team and I are very, very grateful to be here. This government will continue working with the Royal Highnesses, Paramount Chief, other Royal Highnesses across the 10 provinces of Zambia in this, our unitary state of one Zambia, one nation. Work together for culture, for heritage, work together for Chitubuko, for development, working together to deliver for our people.
Mr. President, Mozambique, Tete, how is the situation there? He says it is the same. So the drought is everywhere. Politics may come in, but you did not create. No man creates rain.
Still on Nchwala ceremony, chiefs from various chiefdoms in the country were part of the 2024 Nchwala traditional ceremony of the Ngoni people of Eastern Province. House of Chiefs Chairperson Chief Chisunka called for continued peace among various ethnic groupings in the country. President Hichilema graced this year's Nchwala traditional ceremony. Here are the details.
Hundreds of people have started gathering at Laweni Palace in Kasenenga district ahead of today's Nchwala traditional ceremony of the Ngoni people. Various traditional leaders from across the country, among other delegates, have already arrived. Chief Chisunga of the Ushi people in Luapula Province calls for unity.
One Zambia, one nation. Kuti at least iseba mafumu ngati tukumana muri omusango which means nabo bana batu bari kumbuyo kujya bakazoona makoro yatu bagwirizana pero kutasha sana pakutuita mwatuite kitrere to turango kwebati ni one Zambia one nation ukuikatana bantu bambi bashamfumu munche ndefyo trefo ukuchita nangwefyo treromba kuri bashamfumu ole kwata ama ceremonies ingaya chawa mishabose baleita ishamfumu shinabo ngefitwa kumana mwatuleta chapama we are one ngefyo mule tusambilisha ngefyo tulesambilisha abantu besu ukwe tufule twaikatana fira mwatwebere mwana ndire baebere ba politician atotwefaya i ceremony kukabyo musokonezo waba politician na ifwebe nemo tulekonko kwati aba politician tatwefaya bakarana ati inendi wachi pali chaifi inendi wachi pali chaifi twefo kwe batwe bashafu mufino tukorongene tukasefye mu busuma bakwe bati nabali ukutari kufyaro bakare muruko batawe barasupportana bashamfumu.
And Paramount Chief Mpezeni has urged residents to shun from politicizing the ceremony.
ulimwa mkalida so nini nafasi okondwela mani mulunga kusuguleleni kwangu mwangu nifuna lini t-shirt yolemba ukapena PF MMD or UPND no ayo tieni tuwele mwambo uno ngatifuna wako msonkhano ukapake wako msonkhano asati uno wangu ikakale kwatu mongani ground yokuti yosovereramu kuti muzachite kampeni kwangu sifuna lini awamnoti kapeze nimulana sokufuna nezemizi.
This year's Nchwala traditional ceremony is being celebrated under the theme Cultural Pride in Promoting Reconciliation for National Unity. For Zanis News, I'm Olivia Nkata in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
In Central Province, government is targeting 5,500 beneficiaries across 8 districts of Central Province to benefit from farming inputs for the 2024 Wetlands Cropping Program of the Food Security Park. Central Province Permanent Secretary Milna Mwanakampwe says from the over 5,000 beneficiaries, 700 will be from the vulnerable but viable farmers in Chitambo district. Mr. Mwanakampwe said this at the launch of the Wetland Cropping Program in Chipata area of Nakatambo ward. We have more in the following report.
With the 2023-2024 farming season under threats due to a prolonged dry spell, it is expected that there will be significant loss of crops that will lead to food insecurity. For this reason, government through the Farmers Input Support Program is targeting 700 beneficiaries in Chitambo district of Central Province to participate in the Wetland Cropping Program, which is aimed at improving food security among vulnerable households. Central Province Permanent Secretary Milna Mwanakampwe has launched a program in the district and stressed government's commitment to alleviating poverty in the country through different empowerment programs.
Half of Chitambo, the crop has died. And as a province, you may wish to know that over 361,000 hectares that were done, more than 50% of that is gone. It is for this reason that the president of this country, President Hakainde Hichilema, has sent us to come and venture into the wetlands production, winter maize production. I'm happy to inform you that Chitambo district will be given 700 beneficiaries participating in the wetland cropping program.
He has urged beneficiaries to be proactive in availing themselves for the programs.
The government of President Hakainde Hichilema is providing these programs and services at a very huge cost. It is the more reason you must also be available for these programs.
Mr. Mwanakampwe has further encouraged communities to support the sustainability of the Food Security Park program.
I therefore appeal to everyone, including traditional leadership, to safeguard this program and other social security programs. Communities are therefore encouraged to support the sustainability of the Food Security Park program by honoring the pledge to pay back part of the yields that they will have harvested. Thus, limit the misuse of this program, which will encourage more investment by government and encourage other partners to invest in this program.
Sandra Wangamlinga reporting for Zanis in Chitambo District, Central Province.
Still in the news, over 200 metric tons of avocados have so far been exported to the European Union market from Choma avocado farmers. And Agriculture Minister Ruben Mtolo says agriculture farming in Zambia is becoming a lucrative business that can provide an opportunity to grow the country's economy if well harnessed. Mr. Mtolo was speaking in Choma when he visited a 50 acres avocado and tiger lemon plantation at Shiwitsi farm in Choma. Details in the following report.
This is a 50 hectares of avocados and tiger lemon plantation at the Chius farm in Choma. The project started in 2019, and 3 years later, the plants started producing fruits ready for market. 7 avocado farmers in Joma have come together to do this business, and about 200 metric tons of avocados have so far been exported to the European Union market.
And so 2019 we planted our first trees. 2020 we planted a lot of trees, including pink tiger lemons as well. In 2022 we sent our first load of 40, we're just over 40 tons. And then last year we sent 160 tons in 2023.
However, the source of water for the plantation has been a challenge.
We were hoping to get up to about 150, 200 hectares, but we're realizing that avocados require a lot more water than we thought, unfortunately.
Really, huh? Even when the trees are mature enough?
Even more so, because of our evaporation being so high here.
Government is happy with avocado farming, and Agriculture Minister Ruben Mutoro has visited Chiu's farm.
The president of this country, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is so happy with what you're doing. So that is why we are here, to see what you have, because he wants to come.
Quality is key in any business, and the Agriculture Minister Ruben Mutoro wants it maintained.
What will come out of crop feed should be quality. What will be coming out from you should be quality. Any insects you have, it won't be said it is Gradley or Chutsi or crop feed or Zambi. And that's it, the name goes down the drain.
Costa Kimdenda, Zanis, in Joma District, Southern Province.
Now, Mongu Municipal Council says the construction of Kasima Bulky Market in Western Province at a cost of 3.7 million kwacha is nearing completion. Chom Council Director of Engineering James Siangandu has told Zanis in Mongu that the construction of the bulky market has been funded by the Ministry of Local Government under the construction of markets. Details in the following report by Namakao Kayombo.
Government, through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, allocated 3,788 kwacha for the construction of Kasima Bulk Market in Mongu District of Western Province. This project started in the year 2023. Mongu Municipal Council Director Engineering John Siangandu says the bulk market will alleviate the problem of shortage of market stalls.
We have 2 big shelters, market sheds. We have the first one, which is just right behind us, which will accommodate those marketeers that sell in retail. Then we have got another big shelter on the other side, on the southern part of this building, which will host those marketeers that will be selling in bulk. So we have the bulk marketeers, where marketeers are able to order stock, and the ones that are reselling will be accommodated in this shelter just right in front of the Mongu Lusaka Road. The bulk market is coming with water, recreation. A borehole has already been sunk. It's coming with ablution blocks. I think, as you can see on the other side, there is an ablution block. It's coming with electricity. It will also, in phase 2, we'll also look at paving this area so that it meets the required standards.
Mongu Mayor Nyambe Muyumbana visited the construction site.
So this market is very important to us as Mongu because we had a historical issue about Kashuma. There was a court order, but we've been having difficulties, for the people to leave that place. So seeing this being completed by March, we are going to give an ultimatum to the people around Kashumba and those that are at Mandanga near the road so that they can come and start operating.
Loveness Chingumbe is a trader at the Kaoma market.
kakubona market yalo na yale enzi kwa kasima yona lobiza kuli kasima market chole ubona kuli londa abayenzi fa chaba babangata hulu chole mihani nasepo ya kulimwa market mwali lokakona kuyokwana mwateni Luapula kumina kwa president tumeze hulu tumeze.
According to Mongo Municipal Council, Kasima Bulk Market will be ready for handover to the traders by March 2024. Namakao Kayombo reporting for Zanis in Mongu, Western Province.
Lusaka Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Alex Mapushi says Kafue has great potential for tourism investment in Lusaka Province due to the vast land and water resources that can be tapped for tourism opportunities. Mr. Mapushi was speaking when he visited Kafue for a site identification meeting for the forthcoming Lusaka Province Tourism Product and Investment Expo. Details in the following report by Naomi Piri.
Lusaka Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Alex Mapushi has described Kafue District as the biggest potential for tourism investments in the province. Mr. Mapushi says Kafue has vast land and water resources that can be tapped for tourism opportunities. He has since tasked the local authority to ensure that prospective tourism sites are identified ahead of Lusaka Investment Expo.
And for us particularly, as a province, we've taken note of the fact that we have not really gone full throttle in terms of exploring the tourism potential in the province. It is for that reason that we say, let us meet with the people on the ground so that they can tell us what their districts have to offer. Kafue actually has the potential to be the biggest provider of tourism activities in the entire province.
And Kafue Council Secretary Bupe Mtanya is optimistic that tourism investment will uplift the face of the district.
I think the core that has been there is for different sectors of our society to start thinking of ways in which our economy could be diversified. And looking at the issues of tourism could be one way in which our economy is going to be diversified.
Meanwhile, Kafue District Planning Officer says the district has a number of tourism sites which can be showcased during the expo.
That land is secured, okay, in strategic location of the district for tourism development. So we are saying that by 2025, all these sites should be identified and all these sites should have found investors. So it's a very good way that now that we're going to have our expo, this will help us as a district to ensure that we actualize one of our major strategies that we have.
Reporting, I'm Nampiri.
Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo has said it will take 90 to 120 days to retrieve the 7 trapped miners at Microlink copper mine in Ndola after all efforts to rescue them within a short period failed. The minister said this at a press briefing in Ndola that the robot, which was hired from South Africa as the other option to help in retrieving the miners, who include 5 Zambians and 2 Chinese nationals, also failed. Here is a report.
The search for the 7 trapped miners at Microlink copper mine in Ndola on the Copperbelt has now taken 1 month, 2 days. The first option of pumping out water failed as the water level continued increasing even after pumping it out. The second option, to use special forces, also failed as their swimming attire could only allow them to go to about 100 meters. The rescue team also recommended the use of this robot, which they hired from South Africa, but it has also failed to retrieve the 7 miners, who include 5 Zambians and 2 Chinese nationals. Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo, who addressed the press, notes that the mine has now resorted to the last option of retrieving the miners, which would take about 90 days.
The situation is such that to retrieve our people, the mine and the company itself and the the government, the family members. We had to compare notes, and we have agreed that they should use their last option. And this last option would take longer than the other options which we have mentioned. It will take about 3 months to try and retrieve our people. So the stance of government is that whatever it takes, we want our people to be.
The family members, who are constantly briefed about the situation, are waiting for the final outcome.
So tulelomba kuchalo na kufamily webati mwisakamikwa sana ukukalifiwa.
We have been briefed as family members, and we urge our families not to worry and shall not hold a funeral until the victims are retrieved.
Chakwata mwakafunye emibiri mwiye mupase ifiro nomba nabatukoseresha chawe tufire twashika pantwira maini kalabomba elo chimocho chona chumfwa cho batukoseresha ko chakwe bati ba minister balirandana bali abene ba maini ati pali maini.
We are hoping that they will tell us that we have stopped searching, but we are happy that they will continue until they find our trapped miners, and we are happy that the mine will consider employing our families once it starts operating.
The last option will include the reinforcement of the walls of the tunnels so that the water will be pumped out to reach the base where miners are trapped. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Ndola.
Tovin Ngombe there with that report. The news continues. Technology and Science Permanent Secretary Brilliant Hawenzu says government remains committed to fostering and an enabling environment for innovation and technology advancement. Dr. Hawenzu says the world, including Zambia, were at a crucial developmental juncture that requires the use of technological innovation. He was speaking during a networking meeting with chief information officers and heads of ICTs in the mining sector organized by the Information and Communication Technology Association of Zambia. He observed that the convergence of innovation and technology in the mining sector holds tremendous promise for reshaping the economic trajectory and driving the country towards unprecedented levels of prosperity and development. Speaking earlier, Information and Communication Technology Association of Zambia President Clement Sinyangwe said it was a known fact that mining remained a key pillar of the country's economic sectors and called on local investors to participate in the sector.
Zambia, just like the entire world, is at a crucial developmental juncture where the convergence of innovation, technology, and the mining sector hold tremendous promise for reshaping our nation's economic trajectory and driving us towards unprecedented levels of prosperity and development. Our government remains dedicated to fostering an enabling environment for innovation and technological advancement to thrive.
It is well known that the mining sector is one of Zambia's key economic pillars, and we are starting to see ICT being applied to achieve optimum returns on investment.
And visiting United Nations Development Program Regional Bureau for Africa Assistant Secretary General Ahuna Eziakonwa has launched the solar system at the UN House and UNDP electric vehicle. Ms. Azekunwa, who is in the country on a 3-day visit, said the use of solar energy will help the UN in Zambia to save about 50% of the resources spent paying for power. She further indicated that the saved resources will go towards programs being implemented in the country under the UN. Ms. Eziakunwa said the use of solar energy will go a long way in reducing greenhouse emissions, which is responsible for climate change. She said the installation of the solar power system at the UN House is a demonstration by the UN that it is reliable and can be depended on, adding that solar energy is the future. She disclosed that UNDP is investing in a program called Africa Mini Grid, which is aimed at harnessing solar energy and improving access to energy in rural communities. And speaking earlier, UN Resident Coordinator Beatrice Mutali said the launch of the solar system and the electric vehicle is a commitment by the UN to promote the use of renewable energy in the country.
1, 2, 3. As a result of this solar power, we will be saving about 50% of energy. Those are resources we can put right back into programs for the population. But secondly, we will also be reducing greenhouse emissions and pollution that comes from the use of fossil fuels. And thirdly, we will be demonstrating to the rest of Zambia that this is actually possible and this is the future, particularly for so many who don't have access to energy and who will probably not be connected to the national grid for some time to come. UNDP is investing in what we call the Africa Mini Grids program, and part of that is harnessing solar energy and other sources of power that are renewable in nature, and making sure that communities, particularly in rural areas, can have affordable access and sustainable access to energy.
So the solar system, which actually we're launching, and I'm sure as it came in, our chief architect engineer was able to describe, is going to really go a long way in really taking our efforts to green the blue further, because we will be relying more on the solar system and less on the grid. And that way then, I think as we do that and are able to scale that up, I think if we are able to do that, then we are playing our part in and ensuring that we move towards affordable energy. There's also the electric car that's going to be launched. This is a car that is a UNDP car. It is going to be part of the UNDP fleet, and that again goes a long way in that regard.
As we continue with the news, civil society organizations in Choma district have called for participation of more youths in national development. Youth Development Organization Executive Director Partner Siabu Tuba says youths are a cadre of vibrant human resource that the country needs to drive national development. Mr. Siabu Tuba said this ahead of this year's National Youth Day celebration, whose theme is Zambia at 60, Be the Change. Peter Piri now gives us the rest of the story.
According to the 2022 Zambia Census of Population and Housing, Zambia has now more than 19 million people, of which 60% are youths. On 12 March, Zambia will be commemorating the National Youth Day under the theme, Zambia at 60, Be the Change. And civil society wants youth to be supported to enable them contribute to the development of the country.
As the World Development Committee is approving projects for CDF, the youths are saying this is our agenda. You are planning for these programs, but can you also plan for recreation facilities so that then youths don't end up in the bars saying they are playing a pool in a bar and get exposure to all sorts of risks. So, but these are platforms that we have not done well to promote them as a platform for youth participation.
60 years, imagine the country only has one mental health hospital in Lusaka, and when you look at the population of young people, close to 60%, you realize that there is very little help in that area.
Meanwhile, Young Women Christian Association Southern Province Regional Coordinator is urging youths to take advantage of the CDF school and skills development batteries to acquire entrepreneurship skills.
You know, we have people that failed to complete their grade 12s. We have young girls that failed to complete their, tertiary education because of lack of support or lack of funds. But we have this CDF that is in place now. We can take advantage as young people to upgrade ourselves.
And Youth Development Coordinator Tobias Tembo highlighted some activities to be undertaken.
The careers fair to take place here at St. Mawagali Skills Center, and we are going to have a panel discussion. The next event will be the community service. So the community service will take place on Sunday. And for Choma, we are going to be at Makalanguzu Market, where cleaning will take place. As you know, our country has been hit by cholera. But at the same time, we are going to send 4 youths from each constituency in Zambia to Lusaka for the National Youth Endeavor.
Reporting for Zanis in Choma, Peter Piri.
And in the education sector, the Lusaka District Education Board Secretary's Office has praised government for the continued implementation of the free education policy. Lusaka District Education Standards Officer in charge of open and distance learning, Anderson Katete, says the policy has seen a number of youths who dropped out of school due to financial challenges returning. Mr. Katete was speaking at the Lusaka District Administration, where he accompanied school authorities from Munali Boys Secondary and Kamwala Primary Schools to receive a 1 by 5,000 liters capacity water tank each from the District Disaster Management Committee. More in the following report.
Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu has handed over 2 by 5,000 liters capacity water tanks to Munali Boys Secondary School and Kamwala Primary School as the fight against cholera has continued. Lusaka District Education Board Secretary's Office, represented by Lusaka District Education Standards Officer in charge of open and distance learning, Anderson Katete, is happy with the donation to the schools, saying such efforts are supporting the government's policy of free education that has seen increased learner enrollments, hence the need for provision of more clean and safe water.
Our government, through His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has provided free education to our learners. Now, this has in turn brought up high enrollment levels in our school. Government recognizes that our learners are the most important people. We are there to save our learners. If our learners are supplied with continuous supply of water, the issue of cholera will be something of the past.
The District Commissioner, who is also the chairperson for the District Disaster Management Committee, handed over the water tanks to the said schools with a word of caution on the prevention and fight against cholera.
Cholera is not gone. We still have to be very careful. Let us not just eat anyhow. Let's make sure that we follow the instructions.
Meanwhile, Munali head teacher Titus Hara and Kamwala Primary School head teacher Linda Gia have both appreciated the government for the donated water tanks that will take the school a long way in terms of improved hygiene in their schools.
We are so grateful as a school for the support rendered to us, and it will go a long way.
This gesture clearly shows government efforts in ensuring cholera prevention.
In sports news, government through the Ministry of Sport, Youth and Arts has concluded the validation of the National Sports Framework, which seeks to protect the interests of the youth and foster national development. Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tore said the framework would provide a good basis for talent identification in all sports disciplines in the country. In a speech read for him by Deputy Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri, Mr. Tore observed that football remains a national sport that has potential to empower youths and communities where they come from. He has since urged the FAS administrators in the province to continue nurturing the abundant talent that the province has. And FAS President Andrew Kamanga has pledged continued support to football in the province, adding that FAS is determined to see football as a tool for national development.
Thank you. Which shows that yes, we are Zambia.
We follow football seriously because we know it's the only game that brings us together. It doesn't look at tribe, it doesn't look at one's face, but it unites us all the time. Anytime there's football, you find us uniting in all circles of society. And we request that everybody, everywhere where they're watching football, they should not bring in tribal lines. I am glad today that the GS had mentioned that we are going to tap talent in all the provinces, and we mean all the provinces. Talent does not look at what tribe you are. As long as you are talented, you're going to be picked.
We want to see football as a tool for economic development so that it can change the lives of our young players, whether they are boys or girls, and from that extent, extend the support to the communities where they come from.
And finally, Access Bank, in partnership with Atlas Mara Bank, have fenced the Chipata Golf Course as a way of protecting the area from encroachment. This is a gesture aimed at saving the golf club, which has been in existence since 1902. On that note, we come to the end of the news, but before we go away, let's take another look at the stories that made headline. President Hakainde Hichilema assures of adequate food supply. Zambia exports avocados to European Union market. Youths urged to participate in national development. And in sports, oldest golf course in the country fenced. Thank you so much for staying with us on the news. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde. Until next time, it's goodbye.